The aggregate consumption function derived from the equation C is equal to 100 plus 0.75y.
Okay, so at the moment, assume our consumption function is C aggregate consumption equals 100 plus dot 75y. So what is important, as we discussed in last meeting, dot 75 is the slope of the consumption function, and it is marginal propensity to consume. What is marginal propensity to save? It is 1 minus dot 75, which is equal to dot 25. So this is what we reached last meeting. So please keep in your mind what I'm going to do at the moment. I'm going to introduce the basic of Keynesian theory, the basic of a simple model, a basic of a simple model. So just let me remind you, I assumed we are living in a village in which there is no government, no interaction with abroad. So aggregate output according to expenditure approach equals consumption and investment. Why? Because government expenditure equals zero, net export equals zero. But by later, we can add government expenditure, we can expand the model. Ellen.
In this simple consumption function, consumption is 100 at an income of 0.
Okay,
As
so see here, uh, don't be in a hurry, Ellen. So if
yes, sir.
income is zero, consumption will be 100. So substitute 0 for y. So this will be 0.75y. So C will be 100. And we can draw it here. We can determine this dot. So at an income, the income is in the horizontal axis. If the income is zero, there is a minimum consumption to stay alive, which is 100. Maybe we will take a loan from the bank, or we use our previous saving. So in this year, there will be this saving equal to 100. Ellen.
As income rises, so does consumption. For every 100 increase is in income, consumption rises by 75. The slope of the line is 0.75.
Okay, so here for any increase in income, let's say by 100, the increase in consumption will be 75. So accordingly, this is the slope of consumption function, and it is marginal propensity to consume. So help me, let's check these numbers are correct in the second column using the equation. So let's take, for example, if the income is 100, what will be the consumption from where we got this number? So put here 100. 100 times dot 75 equals 75 plus 100, the result will be 175. Let's take another example. Assume income is 400. What will be the consumption? So put here 400 instead of y. 400 times dot 75. Could you use your calculator and tell me? So if the income is 400 times dot 75, can you see my calculator?
No, doctor.
You cannot see my calculator. What is this? Now, can you see my calculator?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well done. Okay. So if the income 400 times 0.75 equals 300, and plus 400 equals 400. So consumption will be 400. Let's take the last one. If the income is 1,000, what will be the consumption? So again, this is quite easy. So C equals 100 plus 0.75 y, and it is equal 100. Let's enlarge it. 100 plus 0.75, and then I will put 1,000 equals. So 1,000 times 0.75 will be 750 plus 100, 850. So if income is 100, consumption will be 850. So accordingly, we got this table. At each level of aggregate income, there is a corresponding level of aggregate consumption. Upload the data on a graph. So to draw a straight line, you need two dots. So what I will do, I will select two dots. So at income of 0, there is an income of 100. For example, at income of 400, consumption will be 400. So this dot, connect between them, and you can draw consumption function. What should I do? I need to go to my technology. Economics grapher. Yes. Okay. So let's select two dots. For example, at income of 0, consumption will be 100. So this is the first dot. And at income of 400, consumption will be 400. So this is the second dot. And then we can connect between two dots. See here, I will connect between two dots, and this is our consumption function. So just you need two dots on the graph, connect between them, you can draw consumption function. It is technology. Really, I feel happy when I see the technology. So I guess we finished this slide. Let's go to another slide. Okay. Do you know, don't feel scared. This slide is quite easy. What we are going to do, two tasks here. First, we are going to calculate saving level for each level of income in this table. And then we will draw saving function, which is corresponding to consumption function, which match the consumption function. The matter is easy. Let me ask Mr. No, not Mr. Miss Dane.
Yes, doctor.
كيف حالك دانة؟
الحمد لله بخير.
الحمد لله. Can you help me, please?
Yes, sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Figure 8.5, deriving the saving function from the consumption function in figure 8.3.
Okay,
Because S equal... Okay.
what we are going to do, we are going to derive, to obtain saving function from given consumption function. Yes. Go
Because
ahead.
S equal Y minus C, it's easy to derive the saving function from the consumption function. A 45 degrees line drawn from the origin can be used as a convenient tool to compare consumption and income graphically.
Okay, so what we are going to do now, I will add a new line, which is called 45-degree line. So what is 45-degree line? Any dot, see here, for example, at this dot, the horizontal axis equals vertical axis. So see here at this dot, you can see at this dot. So when you draw 45 degree line and select any dot, you will get equal distances. So for example, at this dot, here 400 and here 400. Select this dot. This is 800, this is 800. So as you fold a piece of square paper in two pieces diagonally, so each dot on the 45-degree line will give us two equal distances. So this is just a tool which help us to realize the numbers. Dana.
At Y equal 200, consumption is 250. The 45 degree line shows us that consumption is larger than income by 50. Thus, S equal Y minus C equal minus 50.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
At Y equal 800, consumption is less than income by 100. Thus, S equal 100 when Y equal 800.
Okay, so now hopefully it will be easy. Let's start with the table. Let's start with the table from the first point. If income 0, consumption will be 100. We explain this. So what will be saving? So we will use this equation. Saving equals income 0 minus consumption, which is 100. So the result will be minus 100. Let's take a level of 400. So go here. What is saving if income is 100? So income is 100. Consumption is also 100. 400, sorry, 400 minus 400. So saving will be 0. Let's take at 800. So what is saving if income is 800? So we say 800 minus 700 equals 100. So as you see, sometimes saving will be minus, negative, positive, or 0. This is the first task. The second task, how to draw a saving function. So in the previous slide, we draw consumption function. Now I added this tool. So what Dana Ali said, if the income is 200, go up, this dot refers to consumption. Consumption 250. While income, I can read the income again on 45-degree line. So again, if income is 200, consumption will be 250, while income is 200. So this small vertical distance refers to saving. Since consumption is higher than income, there will be this saving of minus 50. There will be this saving of minus 50. So if the consumption function is above than 45-degree line, there will be this saving or negative saving. While at 800, consumption is 700. And as you see, consumption functions is below, underneath 45-degree line. The small vertical distance from 800 to 700, which is 100, refers to saving, positive saving. Why it is positive saving? Because income 800 is larger than consumption of 700. How to draw a saving function? So this is the horizontal axis at 0. I draw horizontal axis, and this is vertical axis. I brought it up and down to show positive and negative levels. So what I will do, I will start from at 400. At 400, what will be saving? Saving will be 0. Why? Because this is intersection point between 45-degree line and consumption. That means at this dot, income of 400 equals consumption of 400. Saving will be 0. So the first step, put a dot corresponding to 400, refers to saving equals to 0. Let's take at 800. What will be saving at 800? It will be 100. We got it from here. So put a dot here, a second dot at 100. Connect between two dots, you will get saving function. You will get saving function. Let me try another way. This is consumption function, and saving equals y minus c, right? So what I will do, saving equals, please help me, minus between two brackets. What I will do, I will substitute the equation for C, and then I will simplify. So S equals y minus 100 minus 100. So minus times plus, it also will be minus dot 75 y equals S equals, see here, y mean 1y, and minus dot 75. So 1 minus dot 75 equals to dot 25. So let me start with minus 100 plus dot 25 y. So this is I derive the saving function. From consumption function. It is technology. So I derive saving function from corresponding consumption function, and you see here dot 25 is marginal propensity to save. Dot 75 is marginal propensity to consume. Minus 100 is the intersection point, between saving function and the vertical axis at minus 100. So if income is 0, there will be this saving of 100. It seems to be here there is an equation, the question. If income increases from 800 to 100, calculate marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. I don't know whether I can take copy. Copy. Can I bring it here? Oh, it is so large. Okay, so I think according to this table, so let me highlight this. Okay, let me focus on this. Calculate marginal propensity to consume equals, I think this is easy. This is easy. So here, delta C divided by delta Y. Please, if you know the answer, tell me. So what is delta C if income increases from 800 to 1000? Consumption increases from 700 to 850. So what is the increase in consumption? The new level of consumption minus the old level. So 850 minus 700 equals to what?
150.
What's your name?
Ahmed Al-Hamadi.
Ahmed Al-Hamadi, okay. And here, delta Y, the increase, the change in Y from 800 to 1000. It is 200, as Ahmed Al-Hamadi said. Use your calculator, 150 divided by...
0.75.
What's your name?
Dana.
Dana Ali. Right?
Dana Ala.
Ali. Dana Ala, not Ali. Dana Ala, okay. So this is marginal propensity to consume. Let me make this change the color. Okay. Marginal propensity to save. I think if I copy this, it will be easier for me. Copy, paste, it will be easier for me. So what is marginal propensity to save? Delta S divided by delta Y. What is delta S? So here saving increased from 100 to 150. So the new level of saving minus the old level, 100 minus 150 minus 100. It will be 50. So the increase in income, the same, 200. So use your calculator and tell me the result. 50 divided by 200.
0.25.
0.25. So this is marginal propensity to save. Okay, I guess it is easy. We finish from this slide. So Umar Muhammad.
Yes, doctor.
Read this question for me.
Fill in the blanks. Where the consumption function is below the 45-degree line, consumption is dash than income and saving is.
Okay, so I guess, see here, if consumption function is below 45-degree line, what will happen? There is positive saving. There is positive saving of 100. So this is our question. So if the consumption function is below 45-degree line, consumption is less than income. Consumption will less than income, and saving is positive. So consumption 700 while income 800. So consumption is less than income, and saving will be the vertical distance between 45 and consumption function, which is 100. Okay, this slide is important. This slide is important. Umar Muhammad, could you help me with this slide?
The assumption that consumption depends only on income is obviously a simplification. In practice, the decisions of households on how much to consume in a given period are also affected by their wealth, by their interest rate, and by their expectations of the future. Households with higher wealth are likely to spend more, other things being equal, than households with less wealth.
Okay. So there are, till this moment, we say consumption depends on income, but there are definitely some other factors. So when I analyze the relationship between consumption and income, I assumed ceteris paribus. I assumed other factors remain constant. So let's explore other factors. So in addition to income, there is wealth. So as my wealth is higher, consumption may be higher. As wealth become lower, consumption may be lower. And the interest rate. If the interest rate is so high, consumption may decrease because I will not get a loan to purchase new furniture, for example, or to purchase a new car, because getting a loan will be more costly. If the interest rate decreases, consumption may increase. So maybe you don't feel the effect of the interest rate on consumption in the United Arab Emirates, but it works for businessmen. If the interest rate is lower, that will encourage them to get loan to build new projects. But in America, interest rate is an important factor determining the level of consumption, because in a large part, consumers look at the interest rate. If the interest rate is low, that will encourage them to get loans to purchase items such as cars, furniture, or even households, or housing units. So expectation of the future. How do you look to the future? If you are optimistic, if you feel the future will be nice, your income will increase, the country will go into expansion, that will encourage you to spend more. If you expect the pandemic will be more severe in the coming months and the economy is going to further recession and you may lose your jobs, consumption may decrease. And there is an essay question about this one. So let me go to Masoud.
يا دكتور.
Could you read the question?
To explain the aggregate spending behavior, economists
Speculate
that an increase aggregate income in a given period will result in an increase in aggregate consumption in all of the following instances
Except, okay, so see here, try everybody. I'm asking everybody what they said. So when household wealth increases, so if wealth increases, do you think that will lead to an increase in consumption? So look for an item which is wrong. Which one will not lead to an increase in consumption? Which one of those A, B, C, D will not lead to an increase in consumption? Which one? I just explain it. It seems to be I don't have. Who's the winner? Who can solve the problem? So
C, doctor.
B, doctor.
what's your name? The last one who said B?
Abdul Sattar, doctor.
Abdul Sattar. Well done. So if the interest rate rises, consumption will decrease. Why? Because borrowing money will be more costly. That will not encourage consumers to get loan to purchase a car, for example. But if the wealth increases, consumption will increase. If they feel positive about the future, they will spend more. So only the interest rate is wrong. So Rawda Isa, so we finished from consumption and we need to understand the behavior of investment. So here, and we will close the deal because we live in a small village, there is no government, no interaction with abroad. Rawda Isa.
And doctor.
Could you help me? Planned investment.
The planned investment function. For the time being, we will assume that planning investment is fixed. It does not change when income change. So its graph is a horizontal line.
Okay, so what Rawda Isa said, a planned investment. To simplify our analysis, assume business sector as one unit, all of them decided to invest $25 billion, regardless of the level of economic activity, regardless of the level of aggregate income. So whatever the level of aggregate income in this year, they decided to invest 25 billion dirhams. So this is I investment. So for this reason, we draw a straight line parallel to the horizontal axis. So it reverses at any level of income, investment will be 25. So this is called planned investment. Planned investment. So I guess this is the last slide most probably. So let's go to Jihan.
Yes, doctor.
Could you read the first one for me?
Yeah, for sure. Planned investment, those additions to capital stock and inventory that are planned by firms.
Okay, so assume again, business sector decided to invest $25 billion regardless of the level of aggregate income, aggregate output, the level of economic activity. So what is investment in general? Investment is an addition to capital stock, and it includes three categories. residential investment, non-residential investment, and a change in business inventory. So assume they decided to spend $25 billion to add in new projects to expand their existing projects. A planned investment is different than actual investment. So they decided in the beginning of the year to spend the 25, but they ended with a number more or less than 25, which is called actual investment. So Jihan.
Okay, actual investment. The actual amount of investment that takes place, it includes items such as unplanned change in inventories.
Okay, so what is actual investment? Look here, assume, let me use simple numbers. So you remember, assume business sector decided to invest 25 billion dirhams. During the year, demand is not high enough. So what will happen? Assume they plan to produce 100. They plan to produce 100. And because demand is not high, they sold only 90. So what will happen to change in business inventory? Change in business inventory will increase by 10. So again, how I build this equation. So gross domestic product, equals final sales plus change in business in inventories. Okay, so they produce 100, but they couldn't sell 100 because demand is not high. So there will be unplanned increase in business inventory. So they forced to increase their business inventory. A change in business inventory is part of investment. So that will lead to actual investment to be 35, right? Why? Actual investment is higher than planned investment because there is unplanned increase in business inventory. Let's take another example. Maybe it will be clear.
Doctor, we can't see the Word file. Did you share?
Yeah, you should tell me. Okay, so I have to repeat quickly. So assume planned investment 25. What is actual investment? Look at this equation. Assume business sector produce 100, and during the year demand is not high enough, so they manage to sell only 90. So what will happen to business inventory? Business inventory will increase by 10. This is called unplanned increase in inventory. They forced to increase their inventory. A change in business inventory is part of investment. So business sector decided to spend 25 plus any planned change in business inventory 10. So actual investment will be 35. So if you didn't understand this, let me take another example. So what I will do, copy, paste. Okay. So I will delete this and I will delete this. Okay, so now planned investment 25, they produce 100, but fortunately they sold 105. They sold 105 because demand is high enough. So what will happen to business inventory? So they produced 100, but they sold 105. So what will happen to business inventory? There will be any planned decrease in inventory, any planned decrease in inventory. That will affect the level of actual investment. Planned investment 25, since they sold from their inventory, real actual investment will be 20, which is less than planned investment. So we finish from this slide. So here what Abdullah al-Mafraji,
نعم دكتور.
could you read this for me?
What are the four determination of consumptions? Also
Okay. Yeah.
Also explain how change in each will bring about a reduce in consumption.
Okay, so we have four factors: income, wealth, interest rate, and expectation. So try to change each one of those in which it will lead to reduction in consumption. So a decrease in income lead to decrease in consumption. A decrease in wealth leads to decrease in consumption. An increase in interest rate leads to decrease in consumption. When you become pessimistic, when you feel the country is going into further recession and unemployment will increase, so that expectation about negative expectation about the future, consumption will decrease. Abdullah al-Mafraji, could you read the question in black? Explain.
Explain any differences between actual investment and the planned investment. Also, is it possible for actual investment to be greater than planned investment? If so, explain.
Okay, we just explained this question. Yes, actual investment may be higher than planned investment if there is any planned increase in inventory. So we forced. Why? Because we produced, for example, 100, but we sold only 90. There will be any planned increase in inventory by 10. So during the exam, use my examples, use assumed numbers to show your answer. So this is a summary of what I explained about this question. Abdel Sattar? Abdel Sattar?
No.
Could you read the question in black?
Define the consumption function. What does the slope of the consumption function measure?
Okay, so I think we spent much time to explain consumption function, and the slope represents marginal propensity to consume, which is an increase in consumption due to an increase in income.